Temperature for us there. It's feeling a little bit cooler. 36 degrees right now at O'Hare, 41 in Gary. We're at 37 in Chicago Heights, 41 in Rensselaer, and it is 37 degrees in Aurora. Here's where we're headed. So temperatures are going to be dropping out of the 40s, out of the 30s, and then into the 20s by about 9 p.m. So it is going to be a chilly evening for us. Temperatures tonight are actually going to be dropping down into the upper teens to low 20s, and that's pretty close to average. Your average low temperature for this time of the year is right around 25 degrees. Now, your 5-day forecast, things look great by the end of this work week. We are counting on highs right around 60 by the end of the work week, but soak it in, make your plans, because it's going to get a lot colder over the weekend. Your full forecast is coming up.
All right, let's bring you up to speed. One of the women accused of abusing several kids at a daycare in Des Plaines appeared in court.
Jessica Murillo is facing 15 charges, including 3 counts of felony battery. Brett Bagansky is live joining us from Skokie now. Brett?
Yeah, I was inside that court today, and prosecutors said all of this was caught on camera. They were arguing today that Jessica Murillo was causing bodily harm to some kids under the age of 5 years old, and they were arguing that she should be in jail right now. But the judge didn't agree and said that there wasn't enough evidence, and ended up later asking her that she could walk out of court today. So she walked past our camera briefly, but she's facing those 3 felony battery charges from 3 incidents. They're from November 5th, the 6th, and the 18th inside of a Mother's Touch Learning Academy in Des Plaines. So 2 incidents allegedly involved the same child who was 4 years old at the time. So prosecutors say she is seen on camera forcing a child on the floor, then dragging them by the foot where they hit their head. The very next day, Murillo was accused of hitting that child multiple times in the face, once with a notebook, another time with her hand. Finally, she's accused of grabbing another child's hand and twisting it, and then wrapping her legs around their neck and then hitting them on the backside with the book. Now, Murillo's attorney, William Luby, argued, we still haven't seen what's on the video. It's missing what led up to everything, and that there were no complaints reported against her prior to any of this. And he was saying and arguing many of the allegations are based on interpretation. So we want to get his side of the story today. I did ask him once inside court today, and then once when he was walking outside of court for an on-camera interview, he declined. He just simply said no. But one thing that he was angry about in court today, we're talking about William Luby, is he was asking the judge for Des Plaines police to take down a social media post about the allegations. Not only posting the allegations on social media, but he was saying that Des Plaines police posted his client's address. So he was asking the court today to try to get Des Plaines PD to either take down the post entirely or at least remove that portion where they posted her address. But she is going to be back in court here on March 24th. We are live in Skokie tonight. Brett Bagansky, Fox Chicago.
And we have breaking news for you. The city of Chicago will pay $5.7 million after a jury found police wrongfully raided the home of the Tate family. Officers had the wrong address. In 2018, members of the Chicago Police Department SWAT team forced their way into the family's house, deploying flashbang grenades and pointing assault rifles even at children. Those children were just 4, 8, 11, and 13 at the time. Jurors heard testimony that officers used profanity during the raid. The children's mother, Ebony Tate, suffered a panic attack. Their grandmother was forced outside in front of neighbors wearing only a T-shirt and underwear. After 3 weeks of deliberations, the jury sided with the Tate family. A press conference is now underway, and we're going to have more on this case and what it means for taxpayers coming up on the news at 5.
Okay, this one's tough. Uber Eats driver lost his life after a carjacking.
Police say a woman from Maywood took his car and then killed him. She stood before a judge today. Casey
Cronus is outside Layton Criminal Courthouse with what we just learned. Casey.
Hi, Terrence and Sylvia. Prosecutors are sharing the victim was delivering an order to a doctor at Loretto Hospital in Austin when the woman who is now in custody allegedly stole his car and ran him over with it. According to court documents, it was that doctor who found 28-year-old Daniel Figueroa in the hospital's parking lot and called 911. Sadly, Figueroa, who lives in the western suburbs, did not survive. Hours later, police arrested 33-year-old 22-year-old Montoya Perry in Maywood after tracking Figueroa's stolen van using license plate reader technology. Perry has been charged with first-degree murder and carjacking. She has a long rap sheet with 8 prior felony convictions, including aggravated battery, burglary, and forgery. Emotions were running high at the courthouse today. At one point, an argument broke out between the two families in the hallway. After the hearing, Figueroa's mom shared her grief.
I just don't want this to happen to anybody else's family. He's 28 years old. I'm not going to let his name go in vain. And I love you, Daniel, wherever you're at. I just pray with the help of the justice system and everyone involved that Daniel gets justice.
Now, at the time of his killing, Perry was on pretrial release for another incident that happened earlier this month, allegedly resisting and obstructing police. She is due back in court in mid-March for this case. Reporting live from the Layton Criminal Courthouse, Casey Cronus, Fox Chicago.
Casey, thank you. You've heard this before, but listen to this part. SNAP benefits in Illinois are about to drop. More than 200,000 people could lose those benefits starting April 1st. But the Greater Chicago Food Depository wants lawmakers to step up and pass 2 bills. So one would give people a check to help cover what they're losing, 3 months worth, starting in May. The other bill would help immigrants who can't get federal SNAP. It's for people who survive trafficking or other serious things, so they can still get food help from the state. A man from Morgan Park gets $252 in SNAP each month and volunteers like he's supposed to.
It runs out fast, yeah. That's why I don't see how people with families, really, do it with what they get. But I try to do what I can do, and I want to say I'm very fortunate again to receive the benefits. That's a very big blessing.
Food pantries are already seeing more people. Last time the government shut down, pantries fed 240,000 households in a month. That was the most ever. This time they think even more people will need help.
Taking a live look at the U.S. Capitol, Democrats holding firm in blocking funding for the Homeland Security Department. A partial government shutdown has been going on for about a week and a half now. DHS has halted all non-emergency recovery work by FEMA, and officials say more than a dozen requests for disaster aid could be delayed if the agency is not funded soon. Democrats are holding out until Republicans agree to reform immigration enforcement.
We have FEMA that's being held up. We have the Coast Guard. We've got Secret Service. We have, the people who keep us moving to the airports at TSA. It's not a game.
We brought the Department of Homeland Security into this world, and we can build a world without it.
President Trump berated them in last night's State of the Union address, but Senator Chuck Schumer says so far, no one's negotiating, and the only sound is crickets.
Yeah, there were a lot of jabs, some taunting, hours at the mic for that speech last night of President Trump's State of the Union. There's a lot of people talking right now. The question is, will this speech give Republicans an edge and shake up the midterms?
Americans are returning home from Mexico, and the shelter in place has been lifted after the killing of a cartel leader.
The Epstein files are shaking up powerful circles from Capitol Hill to Ivy League schools. Who's dealing with fallout now?
It took 89 days for authorities to take the registered owner of a car involved in a deadly crash into custody.
Well, today there is a twist and it's troubling. Tia Ewing is here with the details. Tia?
Well, we've covered this story twice before, and here we are again with a bit of an update and also some concerns from this family. Investigators say the car that sparked a fiery crash was registered to Miguel Angel Navarrete Palacios, an Ecuadorian who is now in ICE custody. The question the family is asking, will justice be served or will this case disappear across the border?
I want him in the county jail, no walking around free, doing what he want to do. Have to talk to my baby in the urn while you out here walking and doing what you want to do. And my son's supposed to be going in and out the house, having fun, going to work, living. He would have been 24 next month.
Stephanie Hartley is remembering her son, Prince Sullivan. He and his childhood friend, Deanna Kulovitz, a 911 dispatcher, were killed in a violent early morning crash. This happened on November 23rd of 2025 along the 3900 block of South Lakeshore Drive. The police report shows a Kia Forte registered to Miguel Angel Navarrete Palacios was speeding and ran a stop sign before slamming into Sullivan's stalled Chevy Malibu, which had its hazard lights on. Police confirmed Navarrete Palacios is the registered owner of the Kia, but he told officers he wasn't driving. Instead, he claimed he was a passenger and that the driver was someone he had just met. But that driver died, never giving his account of exactly what happened. Nearly 3 months have passed before Navarrete Palacios was taken into custody. And now with him in ICE detention, Hartley fears the criminal investigation could take a back seat to immigration proceedings.
It's a long time and still no justice, still no detective phone call, still no answers. There was still no help. I was just still sitting there like I was a detective investigating on my own, like calling, seeking, getting any type of help I could from outside because the detective that was on my case, Detective Wilson, is no help.
Now, Republican State Representative Patrick Sheehan, he learned of this story and he did issue a statement. Here's part of it. Illinois Democrats rewarded illegal immigrants in Illinois while washing their hands of the tragic consequences for law-abiding crime victims and their families. Of course, we reached out to the Governor Pritzker, for comment, and so far we haven't heard back. We also contacted ICE to ask why Miguel Angel Navarrete Palacios is being held. No response there as well so far, and the Chicago Police Department confirms there are currently no charges pending against him. Of course, as always, this is a story we will stay on top of. Terrence and Sylvia?
All right, Tia, thank you. Let us know when you hear from Governor Pritzker as well.
For sure.
All right, it's time to hear from Emily as we look outside. I don't know why I'm singing everything.
Because it's gorgeous outside.
Yeah.
That's why you're singing.
That works.
You know, I don't know if you've noticed, but the birds are singing
Chirping?
loudly.
Yeah.
And I have seen so many robins over the last about 3 weeks or so. You know what that means?
It's time for pollen and allergies.
Yeah. Well, that. But I was just getting at spring. But you know, all of that stuff too. All right, your temperatures outside right now. It is on the cooler side today. A lot of us are sitting in the mid to upper 30s, but we have tagged 40 in places like Joliet right now, down to 39, and it's still 41 degrees in Gary. Tonight, here's where we're headed. It's going to be another cold night. Low temperatures are dropping down into the lower 20s. We'll have northwesterly winds 5 to 10 miles per hour, likely becoming calmer after midnight. And we're going to be mostly clear to partly cloudy, so a pleasant overnight period for us. Tomorrow looks pretty good. We're going to have sunshine and then just a couple clouds here or there. So skies are going to become partly cloudy on Thursday. Temperatures are going to top out right around 42, and then on Friday, I have upped that high temperature again. So at this point, I'm going with a high of 60 degrees for Friday afternoon. Try to enjoy it while you can, because notice over the weekend, we have some pretty big changes in store, especially when it comes to those temps. We're back down to the upper 30s on Saturday, a chance of snow showers, and then we're going to keep that snow chance around going into Sunday night, possibly into early Monday morning. And then after that, we'll get back to sunshine for Monday with a high of 34. Back to you.
All right, thanks, Emily. The Trump account for children and savings could now be expanded to seniors. We'll tell you about his latest plan for retirement.
It's a game all about being funny and crude, but the owners are filling in the blanks left by the Supreme Court, the tariff decision they are now making.
The Congress Theater is getting a makeover, and wait until you see what's being added. It's more than just the arts.
content of this ad.
President Trump delivering the longest State of the Union address last night in American history. He praised the economy, criticized the Democrats, and spoke very little about Iran.
All right, joining us now to talk about it is Laurel Harburg-Young, professor of political science at Northwestern University. Let's be real, a lot of people did not watch this last night. So what did we miss? What did he say directly to the American people?
So I think I would characterize this State of the Union address as one that kind of continues a pattern that we've seen a lot of in congressional politics in general lately, which is that this was really about messaging. It was not about governing. This was not about reaching across the aisle or pointing to big policy initiatives that Democrats and Republicans should work on together. Instead, this was about messaging, where it's about how does my side differ from the opposing party? What issues can I use to kind of make my side look better and the other side look worse? And this is something we see in kind of interactions between Democrats and Republicans in Congress and in how the president relates to them as well. And so this was kind of echoing the same things that we see from rallies from Trump, from press conferences, that this was him hitting his talking points and not really about kind of reaching across the aisle or trying to figure out where you might get bipartisanship.
Okay, let's talk about the midterms, because a lot of people say the State of the Union can often have an impact. And a lot of people looking at the midterms, Democrats and Republicans. How do you think this might impact what happens during the midterm elections?
So I think that's a great question. The first thing I would note about midterm elections is that the president's party almost always loses seats in midterm elections, and how much they lose by is often affected by presidential approval and the economy. So I think that the State of the Union address and the kind of messaging frame that President Trump took is really both about exciting his base and perhaps creating some visuals that would allow his party to create attack ads against the Democratic Party, particularly on the issue of immigration. But I think that ultimately the content of the speech is not likely to change minds, especially for the large fraction of voters who are voting based on party anyway.
Not going to change minds, but would it change the temperature on bipartisan efforts in D.C., you think?
I think it certainly doesn't increase the odds of bipartisanship. I think perhaps it continues the trend that we've seen, that Trump's approach to governing both has been either to go it alone, even in terms of the executive branch not working with Congress at all, or if he's working with Congress, trying to do things on largely a party line. This was as we said, was a speech that was focused on criticizing the Democratic Party, demonizing the Democratic Party, and this is not really kind of pointing to places of policy agreement where there are big pressing issues where you might find places of agreement.
Laurel Harburg-Young with Northwestern University, thank you for joining us. We appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Well, the cartel violence in Mexico is sparking concerns about the World Cup now. Mexico is set to host the opening match come June. The country's president says there will be no changes, and FIFA says it has total confidence in Mexico to host games across 3 different venues. And this, of course, is all coming as a shelter-in-place for Puerto Vallarta has now been lifted. The area has been under lockdown for 48 hours because of cartel violence following the killing of El Mencho, one of the most notorious drug kingpins. Airports are now adding extra flights to help get those tourists home.
The entire downtown in the Bay was just covered in thick black smoke. Pretty scary.
Some people, after they got dropped off, then their van was taken.
They were stuck at the golf course.
The driver was removed from the van, and they took the van away to burn.
Mexico overall remains at a level 2 travel advisory, according to the State Department, which encourages Americans to exercise increased caution.
All right, things keep unfolding from the Epstein files. Larry Summers, who used to run the Treasury Department, says he's stepping away from his teaching job at Harvard. His name showed up hundreds of times in the newly released files. Tomorrow on Capitol Hill, Bill and Hillary Clinton are set for a hearing about Epstein with the House Oversight Committee. Services for Reverend Jesse Jackson start tomorrow.
His family has invited 5 presidents, including Donald Trump. Security is already preparing for however many people they're going to expect.
Yeah, he'll lie in repose this Thursday and Friday at Rainbow Push on East 50th. Doors open at 10 in the morning both days. Jackson, as you know, passed on February 17th at the age of 84 after years of declining health. The family also invited Obama, Biden, Clinton, and George W. Bush to services here in Washington and South Carolina. No one's confirmed yet. There's a public celebration March 6th at the House of Hope, and then private services March 7th.
Still to come, self-driving cars and free tax help.
Plus, what would you do if the ground literally just dropped from beneath you?
Plus, is there a song that you would want to hear for eternity? The new partnership with Spotify that could follow you into the afterlife.
On Fox.
Welcome back. A heartfelt moment going viral. A class that decides to decorate a student's desk with some sticky notes. Take a look, each containing a positive message. I love this. The teacher says this one student who was feeling, quote, low on confidence and that her classmates wanted to uplift her. That is beautiful.
Don't you have sticky notes
you guys know
on your
where my
desk where you
is,
did?
right?
Yeah, I think that's a really nice thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I leave quotes on all of y'all's desks every once in a while.
I was going to say, we should
bring you
do
a
that,
little
like,
joy.
you know, once a month or so.
T, I haven't gotten a note from you, and now I'm concerned.
Because you technically don't have a desk. I don't know where you sit.
That's a whole nother thing.
And you're always happy.
Have you noticed?
So
Who's hanging out with
it's been
us?
a long day.
Emily's here.
Emily's here, and Emily has cute shoes. So do you. So do you. I'm in my floppers because
they're comfortable.
Yeah,
that's why.
But wait till you see what I should have worn.
I mean, those. I just changed out of mine for this shot.
Yeah, because you didn't want to be seen in these.
Well,
this was not supposed to happen.
I brought them on purpose because, you know, these days I'm I'm wearing tennies.
Yes, and you have a good excuse.
Yeah. All right. Okay, well, Flavor Flav is undoubtedly one of the most known hype guys in history, and he wants to throw an epic celebration for the U.S. women's hockey team.
I heard about this, right? The women won a gold medal, of course, in the Winter Olympics, and the game that is averaged 5.3 million viewers. Wow.
Yeah, the game came with some drama, though. You probably heard about President Trump calling the men's hockey team after they won gold.
Well, just say this. He was wrong, and the women's team has declined an invitation to the White House.
Here is where Flavor Flav, Steph said he's inviting them to Vegas to celebrate their win in style.
That's a good place.
So he posted this: if the U.S. women's hockey team wants a real celebration and invite, I'll host them in Las Vegas.
That
Do
sounds
some
like
nice
fun.
dinners, shows, good times. I'm sure I can get a hotel and airline to help me out here and celebrate these women.
I bet he
For
could.
real.
Yeah.
For real. I was trying to think of how he talks.
For real, I think.
Anyway, he says he's in communication with airlines and brands about setting up all of this.
That sounds like a really good time.
Yeah, that does sound like a good time.
All right, but this is a bit cryptic, but Spotify wants you to know that the music doesn't have to die when you do. That's a little odd.
It is a little odd, but here's a little bit of clarification here. So Liquid Death and Spotify have teamed up.
Yes.
It's the water. That's
water.
Really
canned water.
Still water, too.
Still kind of tastes like a can. Okay, Liquid Death and Spotify have teamed up so you can party in the afterlife.
Oh, so behold the eternal playlist urn. The special vessel has a speaker on the inside with Bluetooth, so the tunes can be streamed forever. You can even make your very own playlist, so it's music your ashes will enjoy. And we're not kidding, this is for real. It's available online for $495. Yes, $495. If this is how you want to spend your afterlife, act fast. Only 150 are made possible. What would be on your playlist, T?
I don't know, but I think this is a good idea.
You do?
Like if someone in your life is a huge music fan,
Yes.
what a great way to honor them. And like, I would love that.
It would bring a smile to your face. You lift it and you hear the music.
Like imagine that you're missing
No,
but I'm saying, like, imagine you missed your grandmother.
Yeah.
And she set this playlist before she died. You're thinking about her. You can play her songs.
Yeah,
I wasn't thinking like that.
I was thinking like
Sorry
you
to
that
touch
it
on
was
that.
for me who's in the urn.
No, because I was thinking that's a little creepy. But like, if you think about it in a way to honor someone, or you're missing your dad one day, then boom, you just play his favorite songs.
But it also plays in and out. So
what do you mean?
The speaker plays on the inside of the urn too.
Well, I mean,
for whomever is inside.
Stephen Lee would have picked the song, so I hope he wants to hear what he wants me to hear.
Well, but you've heard of those. You've heard of those things where they can take the ashes and turn them into like
jewelry and stuff.
Jewelry, and I think a smoker is one that I thought I had heard about. But yeah, it's amazing what they can now do. What they now do with ashes. Somebody had like a kettle.
A smoker?
Like a
you mean like
smoker
a
to
meat
eat
smoker
from?
or like a bong?
No, I'm not talking bones.
That's what I thought you were saying. Like you could put your tobacco in it.
Yeah.
I didn't know you were talking meat. That's weird, the meat smoker.
Yeah, right? So the ashes get burned more than...
That's
okay, house
too
shoes.
much for me.
Okay, house shoes.
Okay, so I will take this one to move on from this topic.
Is that why you're here?
I think so. I have to keep you on pace.
Yeah.
All right, a new word to describe a rising travel trend. It's called Inheriturism.
Inheriturism.
Yeah, I can't say it, but travel experts say that word reflects how travel preferences are passed down across generations, with many people getting their taste from their parents. They say the same pattern even extends into how people pay for their travel. If parents use travel credit cards and understand points and miles, it's more likely that their kids are a little more comfortable with navigating loyalty programs as well. So travel experts say there is a drawback to this, though. People could be missing out if they don't look beyond, I should say, specific locations they've inherited. So maybe your family has typically always gone to, for example, Michigan or Wisconsin, and you should do something outside of that, is what they're saying. Don't just stay in that family box.
So
makes sense.
My family, we always went camping, and it was great and it was wonderful. But like I've never been to Europe, but I also don't have the desire to go because Inheriturism. I'm just like, vacation, let's go camping.
Yeah, right.
You know, I don't even think about it. Yeah.
I'm the opposite. So my mom has only gotten on a plane one time in her life. That was to visit me in California. And I will, you know, I don't love getting on planes.
Yes, I know
But
that
I will go places. I'll just up and go somewhere.
Yeah.
A little
I like
forced.
that.
A little forced into it, though.
Yeah. Well, you do very well at it, Tia. We oftentimes
then
want
you're
to pack
happy
in your
you
suitcase.
do. You're
I'm
happy
happy that I do it.
Yeah.
And I don't pay for it.
Yeah. All right. Well, how do I get that deal?
Shall we?
No. I'm still tripping.
Are there meat smokers there too?
That is just something.
All right.
You got a lot of thoughts right now.
Okay, this next one is crazy. Have you guys seen this video?
Okay, so imagine pulling up to a stoplight and then plunging into a giant sinkhole.
Yeah.
That's what happened to two vehicles in Omaha yesterday. And it was all caught on camera. So DOT cameras, they were rolling when the sinkhole opened at the intersection, and bystanders, they rushed in to help. And everyone, fortunately, there were no injuries reported. But one person on Facebook wrote, "New fear unlocked."
Oh my
But
gosh,
this should,
for sure.
This has been an existing fear for me.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I can understand.
What is more terrifying than the earth literally opening up and swallowing you? So, and then also another person on the internet, they had mentioned that this happened at Pacific Street and 67th. So then there was all this talk about, well, maybe people will start saying 6-7.
Oh.
It's cursed. I wouldn't mind if 6-7 is cursed, though.
I'm
because
sick of hearing it. If you got kids, you definitely sick of hearing it.
Yeah.
There's another angle I believe you'll see on the news at 5, but it's from basically their perspective. The people who dropped in the sinkhole, you'll get a better view. But I'm like, what would you, I mean, seriously, what do you do in the situation? Because I want to go help the people,
but you're worried.
but I'm
You don't
not
wanna
about to go up in that sinkhole too.
Yeah, I would not. I don't think I'd be a helper.
I'm doing what that truck did. That truck said, beep, beep, I'm backing up. You ain't gonna get me.
Back up.
You ain't gonna get me. Let's stay on the road. Chicago streets just got a whole lot smarter and a whole lot weirder.
Self-driving cars are rolling out.
Are you
but
ready?
Why is Waymo picking Chi-Town, and what comes next?
You ever stare at your taxes and just sigh? Same. But this year, help is on the way, dear. That's my Mrs. Doubtfire. Who is making it way less painful this year? Come on back.
It's starting the day with hope. Knowing you're in the right place. Having access to advanced treatments and the most experienced cancer experts. When you're facing cancer, it's not just one thing that makes the difference. It's everything. The big, the small, the unexpected that helps you keep moving forward. Advocate Healthcare. Cancer care that makes the difference.
dealers.
All right, let's get right back into it. Congress theaters been sleeping. What's about to wake it up?
Yeah. Could your board game receipt turn into cash? After a big court ruling, there's a new reason to check what you paid at the register.
Waymo's driverless cars are out mapping streets in Chicago right now. About a dozen of these cars will be driving east of I-90 from the South Loop up to Wrigleyville.
And all this is happening while lawmakers in Springfield debate the future of driverless cars. Right now, Illinois law doesn't allow driverless cars on the road. So these Waymo cars aren't picking up passengers. There's still a worker sitting up front. State Representative Cam Buckner wants a 3-year pilot program to test a small fleet on the streets.
Waymo's already running into another U.S. city since its first ride in 2017. They've made a lot of waves for some accidents. Just last month, the driverless car hit a kid near an elementary school in Santa Monica, California. The kid's okay, but it makes you think about what happens if something goes wrong in Chicago.
Yeah, Stephanie Buffamonte is in Orlando, where Waymo robo-taxis began picking up passengers this week.
Waymo is officially here in Orlando. This is a self-driving vehicle, and we are going to give it a try, so come on and hop in. All we had to do was hit start ride, and we were off. Woo! Yeah, it is really crazy to see the wheel turn and no one there. Yes, that's right, no driver. Mark Lewis with Waymo took us for a spin to tell us all about how it works.
The world's most experienced driver is controlling those motions and making millions of calculations a second to determine what is the safest route and the most efficient route. And you notice that it's really a natural feeling ride. It's not jerky. It is meant to emulate good human driving.
It's an all-electric vehicle that's also powered by advanced AI tech. The robo-driver has been put to the test, getting millions of miles of real-world driving experience. From making turns and stopping at red lights to navigating traffic and constantly scanning its surroundings. The car does it all on its own, while you sit in the back seat. If we look at the screen there, we're about to pass someone on a bike, and you could see that little figure right there.
That's right. The Waymo driver always sees them and every pedestrian and makes choices for their safety as well as the safety of the people in the car.
How does it know all that?
Well, we have 29 cameras, 6 radars, 5 LiDAR, 4 audio receivers. All of that comes into play for making safe decisions on the road.
And I'll admit, at first, I was a little unsure. How would it feel to sit in a car with no one behind the wheel? But after taking the ride, I was genuinely impressed and really glad I decided to give it a shot.
It's totally understandable that you might be apprehensive when you come into a Waymo, but hands down, almost always by the end of the ride, people say, oh, I forgot that no human is driving us.
All right, here's what's moving on Wall Street. Stocks closed up today. Tech stocks led the way with investors watching for earnings from NVIDIA. That's the AI giant. Tomorrow we get new unemployment numbers for the week of February 21st. Last week claims dropped more than people thought they would. Well, first it was savings accounts for kids. Now President Trump is talking about a new retirement benefit for adults.
He says this new program could help more than 56 million working Americans who don't have a retirement plan at work. So here's how this one would work. You open an account and put in at least $2,000. The federal government would then kick in an extra $1,000 every year. More details are expected to come out over the next few weeks.
All right, taxes are here again. Yay. Not fun, we know, but you don't have to handle it alone.
Ladder Up is providing free tax services across the city and suburbs. Joan Elam is live at one of their sites downtown with some advice for everyone needing help with their taxes. Joni.
I can feel the dread right now, but you know what? There are thousands of volunteers who are in trusted places like this. We're in the library. They'll take those forms, file those taxes, make sure people get refunds, make sure everything is accurate. Those who qualify just have to go to the library, school, or community center where Ladder Up is serving the public. The volunteers are college students, retired accountants, bankers, all explaining tax terms and requirements to people, some filing taxes for the first time. The average refund amount for clients is is $1,900, and that can make a difference for a household. They explain things like the earned income tax credit, the child tax credit, to make sure that families get what's owed to them. Ladder Up hopes to help 22,000 families and individuals during this tax season, helping taxpayers get this duty checked off their list.
When anyone thinks of tax or IRS or anything that has to do with the government, it can be very scary. When I start at a site, I think I can see the fear in a lot of clients' faces, and then once they make their way through our process and get to see our volunteers and get to talk to the people that are here to help them, they leave with a completely different look on their face. Just that sense of relief washes over them.
So to be accurate, 3 sets of eyes take a look at those forms before they get filed. They make sure that families and individuals are just getting it done. They started January 31st. They're going to work through April 15th at some of those locations around the Chicago area. Now, you know, some of the libraries have had long lines, like on Saturdays. People lined up outside because the demand is there. Reporting live, I'm Joni Lum, Fox Chicago.
Joni, thank you. For years, Congress Theater has been nothing but memories. Now there's buzz on the block and whispers at City Hall. What's really going down behind those old doors?
And do you remember that mysterious medical emergency on NASA's International Space Station in January? Well, now we know which astronaut was the one who got sick.
Tiny feet, big splash. Why are these little kids laughing in freezing water today? Little babies.
They're so cute. But first, take a look at this team here to look at your trip home. A bit of red because of crashes, including a car fire on the southbound Dan Ryan Expressway. So make sure you slow down and be careful out there. We'll be right back.
Chloe.
How cute is that? Yeah, the water looks cold today. Dozens of preschoolers took the plunge for Special Olympics Illinois. How cute are they? You're looking at the annual mini plunge at St. Cajetan's School in Beverly. The children transformed their classroom and dipped their feet into an icy pool of water to mimic the Chicago Polar Plunge, which is happening this Sunday at North Avenue Beach. Okay, imagine how fun this was for them. Registration, by the way, for the Polar Plunge event is still open, but it's too late to get into this one because it's already happened, and they just went all out, didn't they?
Imagine how fun it was for the teachers to kind of guess what they were going to do before, like each one, like, they're going to put their whole foot in. They're only going to put a toe in.
They were probably so excited to actually be able to, get ready to get up in the morning and have a good time.
And kids just love playing in water. It does not matter the temp, right?
They can say they took the polar plunge.
Right. That's right. Speaking of that polar plunge, though, on Sunday.
Not bad or bad?
Well, it's not going to be bad. It's going to be colder than what it is today and tomorrow and Friday.
Is the one they had to reschedule? Because remember there was one
that's right. Because when we had that.
The Arctic blast.
Yeah, that's right. When we had the that cold snap back in January, there were several that were actually canceled because we had those wind chill temperatures that were actually, if you remember, running about 20 to 30 degrees below zero. So yeah, this could be the one that was potentially rescheduled there. So it's going to be a lot better than the conditions that we had back in January, but it's still going to be cold. We're counting on high temperatures on Sunday that are only near 30 degrees. Your highs today, we ended up topping out in the mid to upper 30s, 40 in Joliet, made it to 41 in Gary, 37 at O'Hare. Tomorrow, we're going to be warming up into the low 40s, and then we're near 60 for your high on Friday. So Friday looks stunning. Try to enjoy it if you can, because over the weekend, again, we do have that cooler air that's filtering through. And typically for this time of the year, average highs are now up to 40 degrees. So those highs near 30 on Sunday are actually going to be running about 10 degrees below average. And then we're going to be in the mid 30s by Monday. Satellite and radar. Things are fairly quiet, but you'll notice that we're starting to see some snow building in well to our west. Most, if not all, of that storm system is likely going to be passing just south of the region. So we're not counting on any accumulating snowfall here in the Chicagoland area, but for those of you near and south of I-80, you might see a couple stray snow showers throughout this evening into the overnight, but by tomorrow morning, we're already waking up to high pressure beginning to build in. That's going to clear out the cloud cover, and then temperatures actually look pretty good. Yes, we're waking up cold in the 20s, but I think by the afternoon, we're going to be in the low 40s. We'll have that south-southwesterly wind, lots of sunshine expected for your Thursday, and then going into your Friday, again, that is the golden day of the week. It is going to be stunning. We'll have lots of sunshine. Skies are going to become partly cloudy, I think, at times during the afternoon, but you can definitely tell here there's more sun than cloud cover. And we'll have those temperatures that are topping out pretty close to 60 degrees for your high on Friday. So try to take advantage of it, because going into this upcoming weekend, we have a couple storm systems that we're going to be keeping a close eye on. At this point, it doesn't look like it's going to be overly impactful for us on Saturday or on Sunday, but I think we're going to have a couple storm systems at least in the area that could be bringing some snow chances to the region. Saturday, specifically later in the day, and then I think on Sunday that snow potential is going to be more so in the evening and at night. So your 7-day forecast, tomorrow and Friday, nice and dry. Things look great. Again, Friday near 60. We dropped to near 39 degrees on Saturday, 30 expected on Sunday. Then Monday, we're back to seeing some sunshine. Highs are going to be right around 34. We're back up into the 40s. Going into your Tuesday and Wednesday, although we do have a rain snow chance going into Tuesday. By Wednesday, we'll dry things back out. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. Cards Against Humanity, remember that game? Says if you recently bought their game from a big retailer, you actually paid extra.
Yeah, if the government cuts them a check, they said they're ready to cut you one too. Here's the deal. The Supreme Court canceled Trump's tariffs. Big retailers passed most of those costs to you. So if you bought Cards Against Humanity at a store last year, you go fill out their online form. This doesn't count for purchases from their website or Amazon. Refunds only happen if the government pays companies back, and that timeline is still up in the air.
Okay, remember there was that medical emergency at the International Space Station? Well, we now know which astronaut became sick. NASA's Mike Finke identified himself today. While he did not say what was wrong, he explains that his condition quickly stabilized thanks to his crewmates and flight surgeons on the ground. The 58-year-old is now doing very well. He launched with 3 others on a SpaceX flight last summer. Their mission came to an early end on January 15th with NASA's first ever medical evacuation.
Congress theaters get a new life. Crews start in March. The city got that HUD money, $25 million, so it's all set. Logan Square has been waiting for this place to come back. It's been sitting empty since 2013 after code troubles and money issues. City Council approved the project. Bomb Revision is handling this big renovation, $88 million. And when it's done, there will be 16 affordable apartments, space for local businesses and arts groups too. They're aiming to finish by the end of 2027.
And tomorrow, an Illinois House committee will begin debates on a tax proposal to keep the Bears in Illinois. The pilot deal would basically let the Bears negotiate the amount of property taxes they would pay in Arlington Heights over a period of 30 years or more. Across state lines, the Indiana Senate has not yet scheduled a vote on a House approval on the stadium bill. Indiana is offering $1 billion in public funding.
Sarah Jessica Parker is heading to Northwestern. She's giving the 2026 commencement speech. She's getting an honorary Doctor of Arts, too, all happening in June. You know her, of course, as Carrie from Sex and the City. She's been doing this for over 50 years. A child star gone right, if you will. All right, thanks for watching. The news at 4.
And the news at 5 starts right after this short break.
Good evening, I'm Bill Malugin, and this is your Fox News Report. Cuba's government says their forces shot and killed 4 people after an American speedboat approached their shores. They claim the people on that boat shot first and injured a Cuban commander. But Florida's Attorney General says the Cuban government cannot be trusted. The White House says they're monitoring it. After the longest State of the Union speech on record, President Trump is back to work on Iran. American F-22 stealth fighter jets are in Israel as the U.S. and Iran prep for their 3rd round of nuclear talks in Geneva. The president says his goal is diplomacy, but will never allow a nuclear-armed Iran. This as the Pentagon stacks the Middle East with a U.S. military presence not seen in 20 years. And from one negotiation to another, President Trump and Ukrainian President Zelensky on the phone today, ahead of the next round of talks between the U.S., Ukraine, and Russia. Zelensky telling Fox he wants a deal, just not the one Russia's offering.
Believe me, not everybody is ready, that we are ready to eat what Putin cooked for us.
And the partial government shutdown now in its 12th day. Lawmakers